The last time I saw such a big an audience where I couldn't dance, I thought I'll take the mic and sing in my brother's Sangeet, but unfortunately only two people were left, my brother and his bride. As a kid, my only purpose in life was to get into trouble, nothing else. That was my only purpose in life. My dad ran a few successful businesses, and I grew up thinking that I didn't have a choice, but I need to, continue them, and I need to sit on his chair and take it up. But deep down, I thought there was something missing, because in the end, everything we do in life is for our quest of happiness, isn't it? So I thought, I wanted to find what was happiness for me, and I thought cricket was the answer. So in Tamil Nadu, if once when I was watching a Rajinikanth movie, the audience on the first day in Tamil Nadu, if none of you all have watched a Rajinikanth movie, I think you should all start questioning your life decisions, because the amount of emotions and happiness that goes on during the first day, first show, sometimes in Satyam Theatre too, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So after watching this, I wanted to enthrall and inspire people like this. I wanted to get on stage. I wanted to dance. I wanted to sing, which didn't happen, but dancing was going on pretty well. But so what I decided, I thought cricket was the answer. I played a decent level of cricket. I quit a lot of things as a child to get into cricket. I traveled along with the IPL for 3 years. I didn't sign for them, but I traveled along them, played a decent amount of cricket. But then something was missing yet, it wasn't complete. So like Ranbir Kapoor from Wake Up Sid, I thought this Sid really did wake up. I thought yoga was the answer. My dad took up yoga classes with a yoga teacher back in Chennai. So the yoga teacher, my dad couldn't complete. He said he was going out, he couldn't complete the class. So he said, Sarvesh, why don't you continue? I said, okay. And I was overflowing with questions about consciousness, enlightenment, third eye. I want to learn black magic and all that stuff. But then the person with an orange dress, long beard, long hair, when I asked him these questions, you would have expected an answer that fall at my feet. I will bless you. I'll show a halo of light around your head. Don't worry, my child, and all that. Instead, what he told me was, if you ever think I can enlighten you, you are a fool, and I'm a bigger fool. So this hit me very hard. It hit me so hard that when you're writing an exam and you don't know anything and you ask a friend and he doesn't turn. So I was like, okay, so now what next? Then Guruji came, I started classes, I got hooked onto it, I started classes, and he gave me a very simple thing to do. So these are the 5 vows that I've been following. No alcohol, no smoking, no lying, no mental and physical stealing. Physical stealing is very simple, but mental stealing is I shouldn't even think that I should have what the other person has. I mean, he used to give me a lot of sadhanas, that's how they call it in Sanskrit, to do it for 40 days. You meditate for 40 days, 6 hours straight every day, and 9 hours every day and all that. And I told him, okay, Guruji, it's fine, 40 days is fine. Then he very simply said, I was 17 and a half then, he said, you need to do it till you're 25. So he said, I was like, 25? Are you serious? He said, yes, 100% 25. After that, I went on I said, okay, I said, let me take it up as a mental challenge, and I said, I'm going to be continuing this. Then he gave me a lot of other things that I need to follow for 10 days, 40 days. I did the Supreme Silence for 40 days. Supreme Silence means meditate for 6 hours a day, no music, no friends, no TV, nothing. I didn't even literally talk to my parents sitting at home. So I followed this for 40 days, and it was the most beautiful 40 days of my life. Let me be very clear about that. Guruji and I were, Guruji, I started referring him to as Guruji because I learned a lot. He guided me. And Guruji and I were sitting one day, we had a deep conversation, and even before I thought, I had Zorba in my head. Zorba in Greek means a person who lives life fully each day. And yoga was a part of our culture always. Everybody did yoga, Hatha yoga, Vinyasa, and various forms of yoga. But what I wanted to do was, I wanted to do something different. So the first day was very interesting. I thought it will all end even before it began, because my Guruji said he's going to be coming back in 6 months after his Himalayan sadhana. It's been 2 years, he's still not back. I'm sure he's in a good place, and that's why we are also growing really well. So what happened was a lot of issues. I had problems with my schedule, problems with my staffing, problems with a lot of things. But the biggest problem I found was, it was me. I wanted to become a CEO even before it all began. So I said, it's time to get my hands dirty. I said, I'm going to be taking classes. I took classes from 6:30 to 7:45 in the morning, go parked somebody, did valet parking, came back, registered somebody, cleaned the studio for my next class, and then started all of this again. So by then what happened, we did really well. We had about 100 clients in 4 months, and we were doing the same Hatha Yoga, Vinyasa and all that. But I thought the biggest challenge that we faced was I wanted to make yoga interesting and entertaining and cool. So I was like, only if I do this, when I started at 17, I wanted all the 16-year-olds to come in and participate yoga. So what we did was, we customized 23 different forms of yoga in our own ways. We said, let's pick out any prop that's available and make it into a yoga form. So what we did was, we started paddleboard yoga. That's without a life jacket in a 250 feet deep quarry. We started the paddleboard yoga for improving your balance on a paddleboard. Then we started aerial yoga for ensuring that your core gets stronger so that you're hanging upside down. Then we started something called the insight yoga. That's very interesting towards the third picture onto your right, which means that you tie your eyes and you concentrate deeper within while doing your asanas, because we're generally focused on people on the other side and all that. So after that, we started every form of yoga. We started doing basketball yoga. We started breathing with basketball yoga. We did rope yoga. We started doing yoga with dandas and stuff. So what happened after this was, we started catering to 6-year-olds to 90-year-olds and everybody. We grew from 100 people to 5,000 people in absolutely no time. And most of them also being 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds and all that. Now, the best part is, we didn't do anything, we weren't doing a different form of yoga. Yoga by itself means unification of mind, body and soul. We just customized and packaged the physical activity of yoga to a different form, because every class ends with a meditation on pranayama. Most of them who are doing yoga here knows. So that brought in unification of the body and mind and soul. So we were catering to people in the way that they wanted to do completely. Now, the next new things we're starting is yoga, which is yoga with a dog. And the other one is stilettos. That is yoga with the stilettos. Even men are welcome, so don't worry at all. So now, what did Zorba help me? It helped me channel my craziness, my purpose of life of getting into trouble, into a way where it made yoga unconventional, it made yoga bold, and it made me and people think that yoga is bold and yoga is completely different. Now, what next, you might wonder. I have one thing to say that Zorba taught me: love like there is no tomorrow, and if tomorrow comes, love again. So, and by the way, 7 more months to go for my 25 years to get over. Thank you very much.